Chris Osmond here with my take, and today I'd like to talk about American security. And the reason I want to talk about American security is because what's going on lately, it feels like we're about to press for another war, or our leader is about to press for another war, because I can't imagine that the people of this country actually feel like going to getting involved in another war. The country that I think we're going to war with now is going to be Pakistan. And the reason I say this is because it seems like military leaders, especially like one in particular that's retiring or retired now, he or they have been talking about attacks that Pakistan has been attributed, they allegedly accounted for. So they've been saying, and these attacks, some of these attacks occurred over like 4 years ago. So if they're talking about attacks that occurred 4 years ago that they're basically blaming Pakistan on, and they say they have proof of it, why weren't these attacks talked of back then when they were perpetrated? It just seems that the rhetoric is building up so that they'll have an excuse to go to war. And why would they want to go to war? Basically because our military, our defense spending is it equals more than, I think, more than the entire rest of the world's defense spending combined. So we have a lot of surplus military hardware out there. We have a lot of military things that we need to justify spending for. And with our wars winding down in the Middle East, or some of them winding down in the Middle East, we need to basically justify why we, the cost of these wars, of this defense spending, which is to me an oxymoron when you talk about American defense spending, because we always seem to be on the offensive. I can't think of when America was really last on the defensive, except for 9/11. Other than that, America hasn't really been, overtly attacked in any substantial way, and but we have overtly attacked others. And now I'm hoping that it won't happen, but it looks like we might be actually going to attack Pakistan. And this brings me to one of my next questions, and that would be, as far as American security is concerned, do Americans feel more secure now than they did, right after 9/11, or less secure? I, for one, don't feel as secure as I did a few years ago, because I feel like if we keep going around attacking people, we keep stretching our military thin, and basically using up our resources, the men and women that go out to the to these confrontations, if we keep using them up and taking advantage of them and not taking care of their families back home, and not dealing with the issues that they have to deal with once they get back, we're basically going to be a country that doesn't have any defense. And I can't think of any other countries around the world that would really come to our aid if we were attacked. Every time you hear about these disasters around the world, it seems like America's always involved in going and helping, and that's an admirable quality. But the problem I have with that is that when we have disasters, you hear about aid coming here. It's like, oh yeah, 4 firefighters from France came to help in the wildfires in Texas or whatever. But it's always it's a minimal amount of assistance. And so I just wonder, who's going to help America once our defenses are truly stretched too thin, and once we've overstayed our welcome in all the countries as we are nowadays. The other thing about security, in my opinion, is to feel secure in America, I believe that people need to know that their jobs are safe, or that they can find a job once they lose their job, and that their ability to pay for their homes and to shelter themselves and to feed their families and to take care of their kids and to clothe their kids, all of that is part of the security that I think is lacking in America. And I think that's all related to what's going on with our government. I honestly feel a bigger threat from our own government than I do from terrorists, because to me, our government, the things that they're doing by allowing these corporations to basically write laws that make it so corporations make more money, and where do they get that more money from? The people. These laws that allow corporations to make money, since, you know, they're written in a way that people are becoming impoverished, I think that individual security is lacking in this country. It's getting really bad here. Everybody knows that. Everybody can feel it. Everybody senses it. That's why you have the people out there on Wall Street protesting. They know what's going on. They know that it's not going to get better. They know that our politicians aren't going to make it any better. They know that Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter what's going on out there. They're both writing laws that help corporations and hurt people. Here in Florida, which is where I am, they just enacted a law which is it outlaws teenage sexting. You know, sending lewd messages, either verbal or visual. And of course, I don't think teens should be sexting. You know, who thinks teens should be sexting? That's not a good thing. But I don't think it should be criminalized. And then, you know, you look at who's behind these kinds of laws. When you think about who could be possibly behind these laws, one thing comes to mind is the fact that, you know, you've got developers that build prisons. They probably have lobbyists that are writing these laws, because let's see, who gets harmed when a teen sexts another teen, and who benefits from that? When a teen sends a lewd picture to a girl, or a guy sends it to their boyfriend or girlfriend, who's really harmed in that instance? I mean, if it comes down to where someone is sending dirty pictures to someone that they don't know, or someone that is their enemy, then that's considered bullying. And there are laws to, you know, that basically address that issue. So in that aspect, yeah, there is someone hurt. But we're talking about anybody to sexting. And it's like 3 strikes and it's a felony. So they go to prison and they have this looming felony over their heads for the rest of their lives. Or still it could be expunged from their record or something like that. So there is an issue there that, you know, we're trying to they're trying to basically make it easier for teenagers to go to jail. And then you look at who could benefit from that. Well, if you're a prison developer, you're going to benefit from that, because you're going to have the teenagers that are going to jail, they're going to have to be housed somewhere. And you're just going to have to build a new prison to house them. And if people out there think that this is kind of far-fetched, there right now were 3 judges that were on trial for doing just such a thing. They basically were being paid by a prison developer to go out there and sentence teens to really menial, to really small crimes, but they were really throwing the book at these teens. And it was basically so that these juvenile detention centers would have bodies. And bodies means money. So don't think that it couldn't happen. There's a lot of things that are going on in the country nowadays that are based on basically the corporatocracy, which is corporations controlling our government. And corporations are not looking out for the best interests of the people. Don't fool yourself. Look it up. You know, enlighten yourself. And then let your voice be heard.